Hi, today we are presenting to you our study about the identification of lameness in horses through deep learning. For a long time, you have to have a professional veterinarian's direct observation to determine if a horse has a limb disease. However, this method has significant limitations. For example, in remote areas, local veterinarians could be too occupied to examine those injured horses. Although some vets are open to online assessments, it demands the owner's uploading of tons of horses' videos from various angles, as well as the analysis and judgment from the vet could take several days. Until now, the invention of marker tracker techniques simplified the entire process to a large extent. These methods often use multiple sensors or reflective markers to track the horse's body's specific body parts first, then give corresponding analysis and judgment to related equipment. These techniques are also applied in the field of film animation, making it easier to create animated character movements. Just like filming, these techniques require specialized equipment and professionals to operate and analyze. However, its biggest flaw is that, under certain circumstances, the information of the horse's disease cannot be obtained immediately. Also, the markers and sensors are incapable of coping with the situations when they need to change their locations or quantities after the filming. We believe that using markerless tracking methods, deep learning frameworks, and developed mobile technologies are the possible solution to our current challenges. The main difference between the markerless tracking method and the marker tracking method is that it does not require any reflective markers or tracking sensors to be placed on the object. We don't even need to determine the number and precise locations of tracking target points in advance. A well-known example is Microsoft's Kinect. It uses several different types of camera to sample the target object in real time to identify the displacement of the object. But due to some limitations, such as distance, this technology is not a solution to track the movement of large poultry tracking. In order to deal with the situation, some researchers attempted to sensors radar, for example, to detect the morphology of animals such as cows and sheep. However, these methods still increase the complexity of horse movement detection. In our study, we'll try to determine the lameness of horse using only the cell phone camera. So, how do you tell if a horse is lame by video? Let's take a little quiz next. Can you tell if this horse is sound or lame? Of course he is lame. He can only walk slowly on hard roads, and you can clearly see the imbalance of his body. The horse suffers from severe lameness, and we should not allow him to trot on hard roads. That's right. If we want to know if a horse is lame, the vet will usually take him to a trot on a hard road to observe his condition. So, what about this handsome one? Can you tell if it's a lame horse only with your naked eyes? In this case, we need to consider the front and rear limbs separately. Actually, this horse has lameness in his front limbs. If you don't see it, it's okay. Let me put him with another healthy horse. See the difference? Our focus is neither hocks or fetlocks. It is their head movements that really matter. When a horse with an injured front limb is trotting on a hard surface, there is a distinct head nod and a head lift. If we put markers on this horse, and we can clearly see the movement of its head. So, what if the hind limb is injured? Most veterinary students could see the asymmetry in the movements, but still, it's hard to articulate which side of the limb is lame. Even when compared to a healthy horse, it is still not clearly distinguishable. Then let's try adding the marker again. Then zoom in and take a closer look. As you can see, the left hip in navy blue is making more vertical movement than the right hip in sky blue. This is because the left hind limb is lame. The horse will raise his left hip to relieve the pain because he will feel pain when his left hind limb bends. At this point, congratulations to all of you who have successfully graduated from a veterinary school. You have mastered the ability to recognize lameness in horses. So, how do you get the computer to automatically identify lameness in horses, especially lameness that naked eyes cannot observe? We use deep lab cut as a training tool for identifying the body parts of horses. With a deep convolutional network that could analyze high-quality videos, it mainly uses frame-by-frame prediction methods to learn, analyze, and detect body parts. Also, it uses multiple iterations to adjust the weights. Deep lab cut can achieve human-level accuracy. Besides that, by utilizing use of multiple cameras, it allows 3D pose estimation. In the process of the model training, we need to sample the keyframes of the video with k-means, which can increase the computer's recognition of specified position of the horse in different situations. In particular, because of our need to train the computer to recognize lameness precisely to each limb, we choose 3 video shooting angles as training materials. Analyzing and categorizing the trajectory of key parts of the horse's movement in the video from different angles can indicate not only whether the horse is suffering from lameness, but also precisely which hoof is suffering from the disease. Let's start with the video of the horse taken from the side. This orange curve represents the head trajectory of a sound horse at the trot, and we can see that the horse's head trajectory is very smooth, with minimal up and down. Then we look at this horse with lameness in its limbs. He has a pronounced head nodding motion in the trot. Therefore, we can use this difference to extract feature values for classifying the lame and sound horse. The curve of the head of the lameness horse has a larger variance and mean value, and it is more symmetrical. The curve for sound horses is exactly the opposite. We used the 2 classification methods, naive Bayes and decision tree, to build 2 different models. The chart shows their accuracy. According to the true positive rate in the chart, we can see that the classification model recognizes the lameness horse more accurately. This is because the curve of the motion trajectory of the lame horse's head has a more obvious characteristic, so it is easier to identify. After determining whether the horse is lame based on the side view video, we need to use the front view and back view videos for further analysis, respectively. The chart shows the movement trajectory curve of the left forelimb lameness horse's nose, head, and 2 front limbs during trotting. We used both the head and nose to determine the head's motion trajectory in order to reduce the impact of recognition errors. As the chart shows, the gray curve represents the left forelimb's motion trajectory, which is lame. When the left forelimb is raised, the horse's head falls, as shown by the red arrow. When the left forelimb falls, the horse's head is raised, as shown by the green arrow. This is compensatory nodding phenomenon we mentioned earlier. Therefore, for the forelimbs, the change in distance between the lame limb and the horse's head would be greater than the healthy limb. As a result, we can classify the forelimbs by classifying the variance and the mean value of the curve of the distance change between the forelimbs and the horse's head to identify the lame limbs. This figure shows the results of two classification methods. As we can see, the recognition accuracy is relatively low for cases where both forelimbs are normal. If both forelimbs are healthy, the motion trajectory curve will not have obvious characteristics. In the back view video analysis, we can recognize the lameness of the hind limbs more accurately. The chart shows the motion trajectory of a right hind limb lame horse. As the red arrow marks it, we can see that the orange curve representing the right croup lifts more than the blue curve representing the left croup. This hip lifting phenomenon means that there's lameness on the corresponding limb. As shown in the chart, it is easier for naive Bayes to classify the data as both sound. The decision tree's prediction accuracy for both sound is 0. This shows that the horse's bumping during trotting has a great impact on the data of hip raising, and the accuracy of the data prediction has been greatly affected. As shown, this is a comparison of naive Bayes and decision tree based on prediction accuracy. We can see that the decision tree's prediction accuracy is significantly higher than naive Bayes. This is because naive Bayes is more suitable for cases where there's less correlation between eigenvalues, where decision tree will combine the relationship between the eigenvalues when classifying. In the current situation, there is a correlation between the various eigenvalues, hence, decision tree performs better.
Based on our principle, we develop a small app shown on the video. User only need to upload 3 videos. Then the app will return the result, including overall lameness possibility and the detail of each limbs.
That brings us to the end of the presentation. I'd like to summarize by saying, based on our modeling and testing results, deep learning and markerless action tracking can be applied to detect lameness in horses. However, future research and applications should use higher quality video and large amount of data material to improve the classification performance. And that's it. I sincerely appreciate that I've had this opportunity to present to you. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to email us, and we will do our best to answer.